year long. All year long. With all we've gone through. The only thing that's matter is the guys in this huddle. In this huddle right here. Every game we've gone out, we played free, we played fiercely, and most importantly, we fought. We got to do the same thing today. It's going to take all 11 guys today, 48 minutes, 4 quarters. Let's do this, man. Let's go take this. All right, here we go. Let's go. Win on 3. 1, 2, 3, win!
A very difficult task has become even that much more difficult for the Houston Rockets, but they're expected to have a capacity crowd behind them this afternoon at the Toyota Center as they try and get back even with Kobe Bryant and the Lakers, who lead this best-of-7 series 2-1 as we get set for Game 4. But of course, no Yao Ming for the Houston Rockets. Good afternoon, everyone. Along with Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy, Mike Green on hand. Lisa Salters will join us shortly. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. And certainly for the Houston Rockets, things have turned. Devastating news that Yao Ming is out, but they have to play on. Jeff, you had to deal with it when you were the coach here. He had his share of injuries. What's the mindset for this team to try and get it done today?
Well, Shane Battier just said it best. Do what you can do, control what you can control, which is your effort and your unselfishness. Play together, play fast. You can win one home game even without a great player like Yao Ming.
So they're without a great player, and they have to go up against a great player. And Mark, whether Yao Ming's in or not, it's been so difficult stopping Kobe Bryant, especially after Game 1 when they lost at home.
Well, great players make adjustments. You take a look at Kobe Bryant in Game 2 and Game 3, 26 combined points in the first quarter. That means he has a mindset of taking over, taking the pressure off his supporting cast. Outstanding job of setting the tone. I expect to see that same thing this afternoon.
Let's take a look at our starting lineups presented by Taco Bell. Kobe Bryant's going to have his backcourt mate returning to the starting lineup after the 1-game suspension. Derek Fisher back, along with Trevor Ariza, Pau Gasol, and Lamar Odom. And for the Houston Rockets, Chuck Hayes will get his second start of the season for Yao Ming. Scola, Battier, Aaron Brooks, and Ron Artest rounded out for head coach Rick Adelman. Right now, let's check in with our sideline reporter today, Lisa Salters. Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Mike. Well, I spoke to Yao before the game, and he said he wasn't really surprised to find out that his season was over. He said when he initially got hurt in Game 3, he thought maybe it was a left ankle sprain, but as the game wore on, he knew it was much worse. Remember, as you said, he's been hurt for the past couple of seasons, so he said the fact that he's made it this far to the second round, he's trying to look at that as a positive. As for how his teammates are taking the loss, Shane Battier said to me, look, this is not our first rodeo without Yao. We have to use that as motivation, and Yao's replacement in the lineup, Chuck Hayes, said we can make up for Yao's loss with effort. If we play like we want it more, we'll give ourselves a chance. Mike?
Well, as they said, Lisa, we played without him before. We've won without him before. A key mindset is our test, and Ariza pushing and shoving on the jump ball is just to worry about today, Jeff, not worry about the series right now.
No, because if you look at that, you'll be looking at a Herculean type of task.
Ariza trying to sail it close to our chest, and the Rockets get on the board. A lot of the pressure is off then, Mark, coming into this game without Yao Ming. They should just come out and kind of play loosey-goosey because no one expects him to do anything in the series without Yao Ming.
Well, in basketball terms, we call it letting your head down. Go out and play basketball and have fun. The coach talked about it. It's easy to take care of business in your own building.
An impressive victory for the Lakers in Game 3. And defensively, they did an excellent job. Offensively, only turned it over 6 times. They're the best road team in the NBA during the regular season, and it was a great road win. Brooks, wild shot won't go. Chuck Hayes with the rebound. Brooks, an open 3. All right, how about a different style for the Rockets without Yao Ming? Do they have to play differently, Jeff?
Well, you'll see Brooks do what he can, which is be an offensive threat, running more pick and rolls for him and posting up Ron Artest. Listen, I'd be shocked if they weren't in the game going into the fourth quarter.
Ariza, I think Battier got a piece of it. Rick Adelman did say before the game, we need to push more. We need to run more. And they've got the ability to put out some small lineups out there. Hayes is starting, according to Adelman, because he says he's our best post defender. Artest stripped by Kobe Bryant. And here comes Fisher, who watched Game 3 in his hotel room a couple of blocks away the other night after the Game 2 suspension. Gasol misses. He thought he got hit. Rockets have a good, hard-working, defensive-oriented bench. Hayes part of that as Battier knocks down the shot.
And I like the offense that the Rockets are running. A key thing when you're missing a star player is not to try to take over by yourself. They're trusting each other. The important thing is they're going to have to do it the entire game long.
Good job by Hayes there. Adelman said Hayes needs post defense on Gasol. Nobody does it better on their team. But Hayes undersized. They list him as 6'6". Here's a 6'6" center guarding a 7-footer in Gasol. Battier for three. How about this start? It's 7-0. And the crowd fired up. Nothing gets the crowd going more than a heavy underdog roll, and that's what the Rockets have this afternoon.
Coach, you talked about how Shane Battier have to be aggressive offensively, forcing Kobe to defend.
Well, there's no doubt. And they're running more stuff with the floor spread because Zhao's not in the low post. Here he comes off a little screen, knocks it down, pass by Chuck Hayes. And again, Hayes is a terrific low post defender that time, circling the post for the steal.
A lot of responsibility for a young man who during the regular season averaged 1.3 points per game. Artest kicks it out. Brooks takes the three. Scola is wide open. And the Rockets now lead 9-0. This crowd in a frenzy early.
And here's where I like Phil Jackson. How many coaches would call a timeout right now to settle their troops down? He understands this is what we expected. The Rockets would come out full of energy and passion. We have to sustain it and find our rhythm.
Kobe Bryant, a little shake and bake, and the Rockets get on the board, assuming the Lakers took them 3.5 minutes to get their first points.
And if you have a great player, you can conserve your timeouts more because he can always get off a quality shot.
Scola blocked by Odom. Part of that defense the other night for the Lakers, they had 9 blocked shots. Odom tried to bank it. Odom tried to keep it alive, and Battier comes out. Scola spinning, trying to be aggressive, puts it up, won't go. Tries to get it back, dives on the floor, out of bounds. They say last touch by the Lakers. Great hustle from Luis Scola.
And this is what it takes. Get after the basketball. Do the little things. It's important to outwork the Lakers when you're undermanned, and Scola does exactly that.
Artest can't get it to go. Artest really struggling shooting the ball in the second half Friday night, especially from three-point range.
Well, he takes so many difficult shots. And that was one coming as Bryant knocked it in, coming off an out-of-bounds play with a full clock. That's a bad shot by Ron Artest.
A tough shot by Bryant. Knows how to silence the crowd. Battier, another three. 2 3-pointers for Shane Battier. He's got 8 points already.
And really mistakes made by Bryant defensively. You cannot allow Shane Battier to step into jump shots. That's the second time that Battier has had uncontested look at the rim.
Battier, as Odom, jumper won't go. Battier's taken 17 shots in this series. 14 of them have been 3-pointers. And he's hitting at a high percentage. Giving the Rockets an 8-point lead. Brooks backs it in. A double-figure lead 5 minutes into the game. And it's not the team you expected. The perfect start for Houston. They're so charged up. Kobe Bryant hearing the boos. At that time, Artest tried to track it down. Smart play from Ariza. Derek Fisher. Odom the rebound. Ball tipped by Chuck Hayes. Another steal. Already the Lakers with 3 turnovers. They only had 6 the entire game 3. Battier. Bang! 3 3-pointers, and it's 17-4. And Phil Jackson probably remains seated, Mark, like you said. Gasol can't get it to go. Scola rebound. They like the tempo. Brooks, bad pass. And Bryant comes up with it. Trevor Ariza gets inside. Offensive foul. Shane Battier doing everything for the Rockets. And the Houston team about to get their first standing ovation of the afternoon.
Tell you what, if you're going to talk to the team beforehand, practice what you preach. Come out ready to play. Shane Battier knocks down the jump shot. Uncontested looks off a dribble penetration. Trusting your teammates. Battier stepping in. And how about offensively also? Dribble penetration all by himself. Inexcusable. You leave him open, you must pay the price.
And the Rocket defense terrific. Lakers shooting 2 for 11 with 4 turnovers. Spanish language version of today's game presented by ESPN Deportes. Use the SAP function on your television. A red-hot start for the Rockets without Yao Ming. They have their largest lead of the series. And we're just over 6 minutes into the first quarter, 17-4. Luis Scola and the Rockets, they know the task is tough. But don't tell them they're out of the series.
I'm not afraid to play without Yao. I'm not even afraid to losing. I'm just afraid of not playing hard enough, not competing, not fighting, and not leaving everything in the court. If you go out there and we play hard and we leave everything we have in the court and we fight all game long, good things will happen. And if we lose, which it may happen, one team will always lose tonight, then we can take it because we leave everything we have.
And Rick Adelman has said he has never had to question whether or not he's going to get an effort from his team. And certainly from Scola. Artest trying to back in. Artest jump shot. Knocks it down. 19-4.
I tell you what, Coach, it doesn't get any better than what Luis Scola just finished saying. I absolutely love what he just talked about. Don't leave anything in the bank. Don't shortchange your skill.
Right, and there's no fear of losing. You don't go out there afraid of what may happen. You play the game to the best of your ability, and then you live with the result.
Kobe Bryant drills a three-pointer. 19-7, that ends a 10-0 run. 7 points for Bryant, all of the Laker points. Brooks for 3. That's good as well. They're 4 for 5 from downtown. This from the team that Rick Adelman said after Game 3, we didn't play well enough offensively to win. They couldn't knock shots down at any important time of the game Friday night. Fisher, nice little ball fake, and gets his first field goal. Fisher missed his first game in 2 years with that suspension after the hard foul on Luis Scola in Game 2.
But the Rockets need Aaron Brooks to be aggressive. He is a scoring one. It is not about scoring for himself. It's about making plays.
Brooks had just 7 points Friday night. Artest goes up the brick, but Battier the offensive board. Brooks on Fisher, trying to get some contact and throws it in. Aaron Brooks with a terrific start. He has 7 points, 3 assists. Fisher for 3. Air ball. Much to the delight of the Rockets crowd. Here comes Brooks. He's the starting point guard. They traded Ray Alston during the season to Orlando. Brooks, a much more scoring point guard, has done a solid job for Rick Adelman. Double team by Artest. Scola, nobody near him, puts the shot in. They're 11 of 17 from the field. Look at this score.
Hey, but the Lakers are not playing hard enough. You know, Battier talked about it pregame. Scola just talked about it. Where is the Lakers fight, knowing what the Rockets were going to bring to the game today?
Gasol blocked by Artest, but a foul. Sometimes the teams lose their edge when the opponent is without their best player.
You're right, Mike, but you expect that from a young team, an inexperienced team. This is a Laker team that they went to the finals last year. They understand what it takes. And this is a situation where great teams capitalize on the opposition being shorthanded.
Yeah, it's a team that anything shy of a championship becomes a disappointing season.
And every time you play more games than you should, you put yourself at risk, just like the Rockets did with injury. So that's why you want to make as quick of an end to this series as possible. And hey, it was going to be a close game. You know, Houston's got very good players, but this start is unacceptable if you're a Laker.
Certainly, if you're a Laker coach, Phil Jackson can't be happy. He's remaining calm, as he normally does. Artest gets inside, left-handed layup, won't go. Artest trying to force things a bit. There's plenty of contact. As Bryant lost his dribble, gets it back, lost it again, gets it back again. He's looking at Dick Bavetta like, please blow your whistle. I don't think he's thinking please, though. Bryant, pass, Gasol, and Pau Gasol lays it in. And a technical foul on Kobe Bryant. He was looking at Bavetta, and then as they went down the floor, he gave him a couple of words about not making the call. Another technical in this series. This series has now had 7 technicals, 3 flagrant fouls, 3 ejections, and 1 suspension. And now Phil Jackson calls timeout. 2.5 remaining in the first. What a start for the Rockets.
The NBA playoffs on ABC. Brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Verizon Wireless. Get your head in the game right on your phone with sports clips, scores, stats, news, and more. Only on VCast from America's most entertaining network, Verizon Wireless. And The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, starring Denzel Washington and John Travolta. In theaters June 12th, rated R.
Two and a half remaining. First quarter in Houston. Rockets up 26-12. Kobe Bryant not happy, Mark Jackson.
Well, absolutely. Last possession, had the basketball, lost control. Felt like when he gained control again, there was an awful lot of contact coming out of it. Got the basketball, took a look at Dick Bavetta, upset that there was a no call, came back down. Good read, passing the ball to Pau Gasol, but on the way down, he's letting Dick Bavetta know exactly how he feels. And I think that's an awfully quick whistle. The only thing you want as a player or a coach is for the referees to be consistent. So if that's a technical foul now, look for down the road, it has to be a technical late.
Battier hits it. Also technical fouls, that's his second in this series. If you get your 7th technical of the playoffs, you're suspended for a game. We talk so much about flagrant foul points and possible suspensions. Same thing with technicals.
Yeah, but if I'm Phil Jackson, I'm sure you would agree, Coach. I'm not concerned about Kobe Bryant picking up 7 technicals during the course of the playoffs.
Meanwhile, a 20-second timeout. Rockets didn't get it in. And it'll be their ball when we come back. Join ESPN for 2 nights of Major League Baseball action. Tonight, presented by Taco Bell, 8 p.m. Eastern, Tampa Bay Rays at Fenway Park against the Red Sox. And then Monday Night Baseball, the Mets at home at their new Park City Field against the Atlanta Braves at 7 Eastern.
Mike, I just want to go back to what Mark said. Kobe Bryant has enough discipline where he's not going to put his team in danger by getting 7 technical fouls. And going back to even further, I just think we just have to be a little bit more, as Scola takes us up. We can't be so quick with all the technicals and the flagrants. It's almost, that's what becomes the discussion between games instead of how great the players are playing in the game.
Gasol, nice move there. It has been a hot topic throughout the playoffs. It's not easy deciding on it. It's been a topic in almost every series. Meanwhile, Ron Artest, who had a flagrant 2 foul and was ejected at the end of Game 3, that was downgraded to a flagrant 1. After the league looked at the film, Artest jump shot there way short. Chuck Hayes had it and knocked out of his hands. They're letting him play. Artest, meanwhile, just 2 of 6. So you see Luke Walton in the game. Jordan Farmar, who played so well for Derek Fisher on Friday night, he's getting his first minutes. Gasol to Bryant. Bryant pass, good ball movement. Farmar, 5 on the shot clock. Farmar drives, kicks it out. Bryant for 3. Side of the backboard. Boy, you rarely see that. Had to rush it as the 24 clock was winding down. Farmar has a little more quickness defensively, guarding Brooks. He's off to a good start. Brooks fires away. That's in and out. And Gasol the rebound. Bryant after Odom, throws it behind. Odom tiptoes. Lakers sloppy to the ball in the first quarter after being so impressive with it on Friday night. Shot clock winding down. Hand in the face. Bryant puts it in.
The amazing thing that you cannot play better defense than Shane Battier just played against Kobe Bryant.
And just an update, guys. Our statistician Dave Freak lets me know that for Bryant, that's his 4th technical of the class. I agree with you. He won't get to the 7, but he had 2 others before this series as well. Nice pass inside, and Chuck Hayes, who averages just over a point a game, gives the Rockets a 13-point lead.
And those are the type of plays that Ron Artest have to look to make. Make plays for yourself. When they double team, get rid of the basket.
Shot clock is off as we wind down the first quarter. And a quick ball, Battier kicked it. Lakers will inbound with 4.2. Rockets have a foul to give.
This is picture-perfect defense, making them work. He elevates, you contest to the face. That's, without fouling, you cannot get any better defense.
How do you shoot the ball with that hand in your face like that? Artest bellies up on him. Bryant falling away. And that will end an incredible first quarter for the Houston Rockets. After receiving the news yesterday that Yao Ming is done for the season, Shane Battier and his teammates come out on fire. Brooks with his 7 points. Battier with 12, including 3 3-pointers. The Houston Rockets have their largest lead of the series. The guys in the suits cheering them on. They're up by 13.
Thanks for watching ESPN on ABC, home of the NBA Finals.
The Toyota Center. Phil, they got up to a fast start. What wasn't working for you guys in that quarter?
They were much more decisive coming right off the bat. You know, they came out, did some things offensively they wanted to get accomplished. We turned it over for a layup. I mean, all the wrong things you want to have happen.
They're playing with a lot of emotion. You let your guys play through it. Don't really call a lot of timeouts. But how do you coach your guys through emotion like that?
Well, when you play with that much emotion, you burn a tremendous amount of energy. And this is a 48-minute game. It's just not done in the first quarter.
All right, thanks for your time. Mike?
All right, Lisa, certainly only 12 minutes, but a very impressive 12 minutes for the Rockets as Kobe Bryant gets his rest. Mark, what were you most impressed with Houston's start?
I like the idea of taking a look at them. There was no excuses in that first quarter. They came out looking to make a statement. The important thing anytime you're shorthanded, coach, is sustaining.
Right, exactly. This game will be decided to me in the fourth quarter. And do they have enough firepower in the fourth if the Lakers are close and then they get locked in?
Battier misses his first miss. Andrew Bynum has come in for the Lakers. Carl Landry, Kyle Lowry both come in. Nice move, Odom. And there you see the beauty of Lamar Odom, what he can do at his size.
Versatility of Odom, rebounding the basketball and making plays in transition. I'd be discouraged if I was the Lakers right now defensively because Shane Battier at 4 for 4 still got a wide open look to start the second quarter.
Each team with just one starter. And how about Von Wafer? Pretty baseline move, throws it in. Wafer, another one of the unheralded players that come off the bench for Rick Adelman. Here's Bynum. Bynum still trying to find his way back after having that knee injury and surgery. Lost the ball on his first possession. Here comes Wafer. And Odom wraps his arms around him. And the Rockets will take it out. That basket will not count.
Well, Von Wafer does not take long to get heated up. He's coming in there to do one thing. Attack the rim and score the ball, either driving layups or open three-point shots.
Wafer from Homer, Louisiana, played his college ball at Florida State. The second-round pick of the Lakers. Hardly played with him his first year there. And then since then, he's bounced around with 5 different NBA teams. He's finally found a place and had his best year of his NBA career this season in Houston. Landry tied up. Battier, Wafer, no hesitation, high arcing shot. And they have a whistle and a foul against the Rockets. Picks up his first Laker ball.
And the question is, can the Lakers win a championship? They certainly can win a championship, but this is a point that has to be made. Right now, they are the third best team still playing. Cleveland and Denver are clearly better teams right now than the Los Angeles Lakers.
And the Lakers already have as many turnovers as they did the entire game 3 on Friday. How about Lowry gets inside, nobody looking to stop him. The Laker defense is just awful here in the first half so far.
And that's the point. Denver is a more committed team defensively than LA at this point in time, but LA has much more offensive talent. But I love the bench of Denver. You can give me Anthony Carter and those two other, J.R. Smith and Chris Anderson. I love their energy.
Rockets bench playing with some energy. Landry tied up, holding on to the ball. Shot clock down to 6. Lowry looking, he's looking, I want the ball. Landry's jump shot, in and out. And Farmar the rebound. Lakers 38% shooting as Farmar pulls up, comes up short. Chuck Hayes already with 5 boards. And a blocking foul as Wafer barrels in for Sasha Vujacic.
Kyle Lowry, like Wafer, is coming in to attack the basket. Here, no thought of pulling up. He drives it. He's a good free throw shooter. And right there was a good finish.
Well, Lowry played his college ball at Villanova, and then his first couple of years with Memphis was obtained in a trade in February, one that saw Rafer Alston traded to Orlando. Lowry now a good, solid backup point.
Keep moving the ball, you keep attacking them, you're going to get good shots all night long.
And Rick Adelman's right so far. The recipe for success in this league is skill, unselfishness, and effort. Rockets are displaying very good skill level, shooting it well, very unselfish, but where is the effort by the Lakers to close out? Time and again, airspace without anyone in the picture. That's just unacceptable if you're trying to win a championship.
Scola and Battier get off to a great start. Right now they're on the bench. Brian Cook seeing some action again without Yao Ming. Other guys have to get some minutes. Cook's only played, there he is. Only played a minute in this series, only 6 minutes in the playoffs. Was obtained from Orlando in that 3-team trade in February. Artest, terrible shot. And Artest struggling shooting the ball. Shannon Brown, another late season pickup from Charlotte for the Lakers, continues to play well for them off the bench.
And what I have a problem with is Jordan Farmar just took a similar shot and got taken out. I think it's very difficult to rotate 3-point guards.
Wafer turns it over. Here comes Vujacic. Here's Brown. Brown playing with a lot of confidence. Luke Walton gets inside, banks it in, and just like that, it's 11.
And really, the difference between, when you're talking about bench players, guys coming off the bench, the difference between the good ones and the bad ones is the good ones, they're allowed to play through mistakes. You're going to have to live as a coach with guys making mistakes on the floor. The question is how much.
Cook can shoot the 3. That time off the dribble, pokes it away. Good second effort. And Artest allowed to go in the backcourt off the carom. Artest again drives. That time finally gets it to go. Lead back up to 13.
He played Ron Artest for 4 games and also all season long. You cannot allow him to get to his left hand. That's what he wants to do. He's going to punish him.
Luke Walton throws it to no one. 7 turnovers for the Lakers, already more than all of Game 3 Friday night. That's a game they didn't have a turnover in the 4th quarter. Lowry, Landry, Cook for 3, puts it in. 5 3-pointers in the first half for Houston.
I mean, Rick Adelman, you can play Cook in this ball game because the Lakers are giving wide open shots up. Therefore, you have a big man that can knock those shots down. Good things will happen.
How about Cook hardly has played in the playoffs as Walton turns it over again. Lakers, so many turnovers. Lowry blocking foul, count it, and 1. It's all Rockets here in the first half. An 18-point lead.
One team playing like this game means something to them. The other one going through the motion. Kyle Lowry pushing the ball down the throat of the Lakers, gets the contact and the foul.
The turnovers for the Lakers, and Phil Jackson and talking to Lisa Salters talking about it. They're just killing them right now. The 8 turnovers have led to 16 Rocket points. And Lowry, a tough kid from Philadelphia, off the bench, playing well. And he's got a chance for a 3-point play as an anti-Laker chant breaks out here on Mother's Day.
You just can't say what the anti-Laker chant is on TV. Just not acceptable.
I'd get scolded if I did.
Exactly.
8-0 run, 19-point lead. And a lot of people went into this game today thought if there was going to be a 19-point lead, it was going to be the team in the purple and the gold that had it. And we have a foul on Cook. Cook, who was in the rotation for the Lakers last couple of years, then they sent him to Orlando in the trade that brought Trevor Ariza to LA, a trade that has worked out for Los Angeles. Ariza is such a big part. Now he gets the Pacers' former team in the postseason. Nice move from Ariza. He's really added to his offensive arsenal. Never a big scorer. Now shooting threes, taking it off the dribble. Lowry to Landry.
Hey, this is bad defense. This is bad defense, Coach.
Yeah. Brown was forcing the ball away from the pick. Gasol was up on the pick, so there was a direct driving line to the basket.
Ariza, good look for 3. Backs it down. He just continues to hit some big shots for this team.
You know, we talk about the Lakers. You got to give the Rockets a lot of credit. Rick Adelman said, hey, we want to push the pace. We want to, with a quicker team, we want to make things happen defensively and then transition basketball. And so far, they've done their job.
We're midway through the second. It's been all Rockets thus far. Gasol against Cook. Gasol gets inside, left-handed.
See, and Cook brings an offensive element. Chuck Hayes had Gasol locked up in the first quarter. Now he's going up against Cook, and it's easier for him because that's not Cook's strength.
Just as you say that, Hayes gets called to get back in the game. Wafer pulls up, puts it in. A 2-pointer for Wafer. He's got 4 points off the bench. 9 different Rockets have scored here in the first quarter and a half. Ariza draws the foul. And we'll have another timeout. This crowd delirious here in the first half.
Got to give the bench players for the Rockets a lot of credit. They've done their job by sustaining, giving the initial guys a rest on the bench, keeping their foot on the gas pedal. Outstanding job by Kyle Lowry and also Von Wafer. Energy and effort off the bench.
Playoffs on ABC. Brought to you by The Hangover, a new comedy from the director of Old School. In theaters everywhere June 5th. E-Trade. And Low Calorie G2. Less calories for more athletes.
Back in Houston, Texas, Rockets lead by 16. No Yao Ming. He's done after the foot injury, but he's with our Lisa Salters.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Yao, no, I know you're not playing, but what do you like about what you're seeing from your team right now without you?
Emotional. You know, team will really play with a passion and with full energy. I mean, that's what we have a whole season long. You know, and tonight is special. Feel like we had a special energy right there, and I'm proud for my teammates right there.
Now, we know you want to be out there, but what was your reaction when they told you you weren't going to be able to play for the rest of the playoffs?
Well, actually, I'm not very excited because during the game 3 and almost the end of the game, I know it was something wrong on my foot. But anyway, you know, you feel a little bit down when you cannot help team on the court. Because, you know, as a player, you want to play on there.
You've been hurt before, especially with that left foot. Is this something you're going to have to deal with in your career?
I think like you said, I need to deal with that because that just happened, you know.
Now you're not playing, but what are you doing to motivate your guys sitting over here on the bench?
Cheer for the teammates and yell for them, and hopefully maybe I can get a 1 second foul on there.
I hope not, but good luck to you anyway. Thanks, Joe. Mike?
Right, when he says I feel a little bit down because I can't help my team on the court. And you get the Jeff, you know him as well as anyone. As Scola gets inside, misses. He probably feels like he's letting his team down that he's not on there. It is killing him that he can't help his team today.
He has a great sense of responsibility and accountability to his team as Gasol spins by Chuck Hayes. And the thing I like the most, how many stars would truly be happy that their team was playing so well without them? Yao always took pride in other teammates' successes.
You know, another thing you said, Lisa asked the question as Scola knocks down a jumper, how do you motivate your team? Well, you motivate your team when they realize you didn't hurt your foot after the game. It happened during the game, and you wanted to stay in. That type of passion is contagious.
Rick Adelman said that injury is tough on the team because he's so well-liked and so well-respected by his teammates. Everybody felt down, but they've obviously not let it affect their performance and the spirit with which they are playing here to start Game 4. Scola called Yao the best teammate ever. And he means not just in the NBA, who's only been 2 years, as Hayes blocked by Gasol. Battier gets it back. And Scola stripped of the ball by Kobe Bryant. And then a foul on Scola. Yao missed the playoffs last year, the entire playoffs with the foot injury. Trained so hard so he can play in the Olympics. But every year there seems to be something. And it's so difficult for him trying to come back all the time. They say that this injury, he'll be okay in 6 to 8 weeks.
But it's the same foot, Mike. He's a large man trying to do something that has never been done before, which is be a full-time player with a role at both ends. The real big guys have always been the thin guys, or Mark Eaton, who just played basically at the defensive end of the floor. This guy's trying to be an offensive force, which has not been done, as Brian hits another pull-up. Unfortunately, I feel he's always going to have some type of lower leg injury to deal with.
It's pretty amazing. He played in 77 games this year, again, after rehabbing so he could play in the Olympics. That was talking about responsibility to play in Beijing. He felt so much pressure to play. Brooks 3 won't go. Scola trying to keep it alive, but Ariza, nice job.
This is an important run for the Rockets. You want to close out this half. You don't want to have all that work done for nothing.
Kobe Bryant. Oh, Bryant has been superb. Now 6 of 10 from the field. And he's got 13 of their 35. We're going to 2.5 minutes remaining. Largest lead has been 19. But the Lakers are trying to slowly chip away. Artest for 3. Artest off the mark. He's just 3 of 11 from the field. Ryan again left open. Not that time. Ryan gets knocked to the ground. They've let him play. Brooks on a penetration. Brooks with Walton on him. Gets it to Battier. Tries another 3. It's good. Shane Battier's 4th three-pointer of the half. He had 18 points in the first 3 games. He's got 15 here in the first half of Game 4 as Phil Jackson wants a timeout. Shane Battier led the pregame chat. His motivational talk before they came on the floor. He's backing up his words with some great action. Battier, 15 points, 4 three-pointers. Rockets by 15 here in the second.
I'm running down the dream.
Back in Houston, Texas, Rockets without Yao Ming leading the Lakers 50-35 here late in the second quarter. Meanwhile, our calendar, postseason continues tonight on TNT. Game 4 from Orlando. Celtics trying to even things up with the Magic. And next Thursday on ESPN, Game 6 if necessary. Boston at Orlando, Lakers at Houston. And then next Sunday on ABC, coverage continues. We might have some Game 7s or maybe a Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals all coming up as the playoffs continue. The playoffs that certainly took a sad note yesterday with the passing of one of the great coaches and one of the great legends, and certainly one of the great people. Chuck Daly passing away after a short but tough battle with cancer. And Daly, he was a coach all the way through. Didn't just come easy for him in the NBA. Coach for many years in high school and college. And then, of course, his fame with the Pistons, the 2 championships, the Dream Team. We've seen all the coaches wear the CD Chuck Daly pins to show recognition and honor the great Chuck Daly. And a guy who talk about a people person. Everybody that came in contact had something special to say about Chuck Daly, guys.
Well, absolutely. The thing that I think about is playing as a young fella facing the Detroit Pistons team with strong personalities as far as players are concerned. Chuck Daly is clean as a board of health with his suit and tie, and then listening to his players, making decisions. Outstanding job of being the leader, but a leader that listens.
You know, and you can go through all of his accomplishments, championships, gold medal. The thing for me was he was really good to young coaches. When I came into the league, you know, he would take time. He didn't know my name, but he would take time to speak to you and try to encourage you in your profession.
And that was with the coaches who coached with him, or you had no affiliation with him.
No question.
Such an impact on his mark, as you said. Always did it with such style. Aaron Brooks throws it in with the left hand, and the Rockets back up by 17. On him. It's been a fun matchup watching these two go at it. Gasol gets inside, blocked by Hayes, but a foul. Chuck Hayes having to start in place of Yao Ming. He's done a solid job. He's got 7 rebounds, 3 steals. Young man was not drafted out of Kentucky.
It shows you the benefit of having Chuck Hayes back there as opposed to Yao Ming. He's able to stop the penetration of Bryant, also get back to Pau Gasol. There's a foul there. But that's good defense by Chuck Hayes, not giving up on the play.
Hayes had a great career at Kentucky, but at 6'6" and a power player, wasn't drafted. And as we said, he kind of did the 10-day contract thing, the D-League thing. He just plays so hard. He was a great football player in high school.
Listen, I coached him. When Chuck Hayes is on the floor, the Rockets are a better defensive team. And if they're not getting hurt offensively with him being on the floor because he has no range on his jump shot and can't make free throws, listen, they're going to be competitive.
You said he loves to sing. Did he ever sing in the locker room?
You know what? I don't know about that, but he loves to defend and he loves to compete. And when you want to pick up guys who maybe were undrafted, that's what you look for. Special skills, special heart. Chuck Hayes has both.
Brooks on a pull-up. Aaron Brooks drops it in. 11 points for Brooks here in the first half. Don't forget, coming up, the T-Mobile halftime report. Stuart Scott, John Barry, Michael Wilbon. We'll have Spike Lee's Kobe Project and Pau Gasol's Fave 5 players all coming up. The T-Mobile halftime report. What a first half it's been for the Rockets. Bryant. Josh Powell has to put it up. And that won't go. A sensational opening quarters for the Houston Rockets. Kobe Bryant and the Lakers going up against all the emotion here in this building. Rockets playing the underdog role without Yao Ming. Shane Battier led the charge, 15 first-half points, and he's with Lisa.
Right, Shane, we know what it was like to watch you guys play with all that emotion. What was it like for you actually being out on the floor playing with it?
Well, we had some tough guys, and even though Yao was out, we expect big things from the guys who play. So, it's the mindset.
For you, 4 3-pointers in that half. How were you so open?
Well, you know what? They're there. They haven't paid me too much attention to this point in the series, so if I shoot 23s, I'll shoot 23s tonight.
All right, you sweat on me more than anybody else. You know that, right?
It's only because I love you.
He sweats every time out there. Great first half for Shane Battier. Coming up next, again, the T-Mobile halftime report. Don't forget they're without the Kemi Mutombo, too, heard earlier in the playoffs. The T-Mobile halftime report. Spike Lee's interesting Kobe project followed him for a day. And Pau Gasol's paid 5 players as a kid growing up in Spain. It's game 4 of this Western Conference semifinal. Rockets without Yao Ming, desperate for a victory to stay in the series, put together their best 2 quarters. Halftime in Houston, an 18-point Rocket lead. Halftime in Houston, Texas. Game 4 Western Conference semifinals. That score is correct. The Rockets, who lost Yao Ming yesterday with a hairline fracture to his foot, he's done for the season, have an 18-point lead. They have led from start until right now here in this all-important Game 4. Hello, everyone, with Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy. Mike Reed on hand. We'll check in with Lisa Salters in just a minute. Wow, what an electric atmosphere. The undermanned underdog Rockets just take it to the Lakers. And right from the start, Mark, and we're going to call this our Coors Light cold hard look, the attacking style of these Rockets.
Well, absolutely. No Yao Ming. You have to find a way to create offense, and give credit to Aaron Brooks. Did a stellar job of running his team. Looking to be aggressive. You talk about pick and roll. Well, take a look exactly here. Everyone knows baseline drive, baseline drip. Your responsibility if you're Shane Battier, read the drive and give Aaron Brooks an opportunity to pass you the basketball. Excellent execution. No rotation from the Laker defense. Gotcha, says Shane Battier. And then dribble penetration again. Derek Fisher, inexcusable help, allows Shane Battier to step in rhythm. And you love what Aaron Brooks is doing all afternoon long. Putting pressure on this Laker defense time and time again. Looking to be a scorer. No Yao Ming, no problem, says Brooks and Battier. You talk about the first half of both of those guys. Outstanding job creating offense, taking pressure off of Ron Artest to be spectacular.
And those two, the top numbers, but a lot of guys contributed an awful lot in that first half. Meanwhile, just the opposite for the Lakers and Kobe Bryant, who was not happy in that first half.
Nor should he have been. He played another solid half. 6 for 12 from the floor. But again, he's getting tough shots. Here, surrounded by the defense of the Houston Rockets. And what he's had to settle for again tonight is pull-up 2-point jump shots. These are big-time shots, big-time makes, but they're exactly the type of shots that the Houston Rockets want him taking. They don't want him shooting layups, free throws, or 3-point shots. They can live with those type of pull-up jumpers off the dribble.
Bryant led them in scoring with 13. He also had 3 steals, but the Laker defense certainly struggling in that first half as the Rockets shot 50% from the field, including those 6 3-pointers. All right, here we go on Mother's Day. And once again, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Rockets Aaron Brooks gets inside, and it's into them. As Gasol misses, how about the free throw shooting for the Lakers? Now 4 of 10 from the line.
Interesting stat from our guy Dave Reese, says the Lakers have not lost a game trailing wire to wire all season long. So this would actually be a first.
There was a double-digit lead just a few minutes into this one. And you knew there was going to be a lot of emotion early, but the Rockets have been able to maintain it. Shot clock at 8, and a foul on Bynum. Brooks sells it. The Rockets will inbound. First on Bynum. Rick Adelman doing a terrific job with this team. We talk about Phil Jackson being first all-time in playoff wins. Adelman's in the top 10. He's number 9. So successful in Portland and Sacramento, and now here in Houston. Artest for 3, won't go. Battier the rebound. Taken away by Kobe Bryant. We credit that to Bryant. That's his 4th steal. The crossover, the drive, left-handed, puts it in. Sensational move from Kobe Bryant. Artest will try again. And Artest just can't find the range. Scola had it, lost it. The Rockets regain possession.
You talk about a tough move. The only way for the Lakers to take over this game, it has to be number 24. This is a big-time move. The good news is Shane Battier is the guy defending him, making him work for everyone.
Artest. Artest passes up a layup for a three. Battier can't get it to go. And a loose ball foul is going to go against the Lakers. And I believe it's going to be called on Ariza. And it is his second. Artest and Bryant having some words. And Scola trying to get Artest away. He's been ejected from game 2. And then from game 3. The game 3 ejection, though, was a flagrant 2 foul, which is automatic. That was since rescinded. His temper has been well documented. He has kept it under control all season long. He's been a major plus here in Houston. Brooks on the drive, and he's fouled. Let's take a look. Now turn to the basket. See the extracurricular activity. There's that high. Kind of threw an elbow up near the throat on Ariza, who shoved him back. Yeah, it's just normal back and forth stuff. Right, Mark?
Well, it's playoff basketball, no question about it. With Phil Jackson, you don't mind finally seeing somebody play aggressive.
And that's why Artest, to me, had no right to be upset with Bryant in game 2 as Battier knocks in another three. It was the same type of elbow.
That's his 5th three-pointer of the game. The lead is ballooned at 24. The lead can't be big enough for this crowd. They are so fired up as Bryant misses. Scola, his 11th rebound. Here comes Brooks. Brooks looking out for Battier, long three. And rebound, Ariza kicks it. Brooks dives on the floor with Ariza and saves it to Artest. Great effort, great hustle from the Rockets. Artest back out to Brooks. It's good! 27-point lead.
Playoffs on ABC. Brought to you by the Ford Advantage Plan. Quality credit and payment protection you can count on. Taken on Blu-ray and DVD Tuesday. And Pizza Hut. Want more taste? Get it from America's favorite pizza.
Mother's Day here at the Toyota Center, and the Rockets, yes, that score is correct. 67-40, just 5 minutes into the third. Mark Jackson, what a performance here from Houston without Yao Ming.
Executing on the offensive end, but the Lakers also cooperating. You talk about rotating the Louis Scola. Kobe Bryant cheating the play. Shane Battier all by himself in the corner. Too late. You can't get back to him. You're giving him too much airspace. And then the little things. Hustle, extra effort plays. You gotta love guys willing to sacrifice their body. Aaron Brooks comes up with the loose basketball and then reward the guys' hustle and energy. Long distance, that Al. Brooks with the jumper.
And Aaron Brooks in his second year. Young man grew up in Seattle, Washington. Played all 4 years of college basketball in Oregon. Wasn't a big-time player at first, but slowly improved. He's doing the same thing in the NBA. Kobe Bryant won't go. Rebound Scola, his 12th rebound of the game. And here comes Brooks. They list him as 6 feet tall. I don't know if he's that tall, but he's playing huge here this afternoon.
So he's a guy that was a big-time scorer in college.
Not right away. His first year averaged just 7 a game as a freshman. By the time he was a senior, almost 18 a game as the foul was called against Kobe Bryant. That's what you love, that type of player. You know, slowly kept working, slowly got better. Last year, same thing as a rookie. Didn't play a lot early, then started to play. And now this year, they felt comfortable trading Rafer Alston and giving him the starting point guard job.
And both point guards today have played well. Brooks and Lowry have outplayed all 3 point guards for the Lakers, and they're going to need that to continue on and win on the road.
Battier for three. Scola nearly had it. Bynum the rebound.
The way Aaron Brooks plays, he has to have a better nickname. AB is not making the cut.
Foul on the entry pass as they try to lob it in to Bynum. They're going to call it on Chuck Hayes. That's 4 on Hayes. Hayes has done his job. 7 rebounds, good defense. 3 steals, a block shot. He's going to come out, though, and here's that backup you talked about, Jeff, Kyle Lowry. So Hayes will sit, and they go small again with Lowry and Brooks in the backcourt. Battier, Artest, and Scola. Nice ovation for the hard-working Chuck Hayes. Odom. Oh, Odom went down hard on his back, and he's hurt. No cushion whatsoever. They call an offensive foul on Odom, but he is grimacing in pain. Was unable to cushion the fall at all and landed directly on what looked like the back, or at least the side. You could hear the thud from where we are here at half court. Let's take a look and listen. Battier did a great job getting in, and Odom's going to stay in the game, although Phil Jackson trying to get him out.
Wow. You know, a tough fall for Odom, but take a look at the difference defensively, both teams. The Rockets rotating, helping, willing to sacrifice their body, stopping dribble penetration, and the Lakers surrendering.
And a technical foul called against Odom as he was walking toward the bench. Phil Jackson was trying to get him to the bench. Michael Smith, the official right there. Tell you what, after you take a fall like that, it hurts so much, then you get up and find out the foul was on you. That's not easy to take.
Yeah, but if I'm a Laker, I'm not upset at any referee right now. It's all about the guys in purple. We're not getting it done.
He's talking as he goes off the floor. Now Phil Jackson takes him out. And there you see the technical. Smith called it right there. Scola fakes. Out to Artest. Lowry spots up for 3. And a rebound, Kobe Bryant.
But how many open looks? How many open looks are the Lakers going to give up before they say, hey, we got to get stops and we have to have multiple efforts?
Vujacic, that's a 3-pointer. The Lakers would like to see Vujacic get on track. He has really struggled shooting in the postseason.
Are the Lakers a together, tough-minded team? Because if not, you can't win it all. Because you're going to go up against other talented teams at some point in your playoff run that are similar health-wise to where you're at.
Battier's shot won't go. Josh Powell the rebound. Farmar trying to push. Farmar, nice layup. Now the Lakers did. When they lost game 1 in LA, they responded with 2 strong victories. The first one at home and then Friday night where defense was a big part of their victory. So they responded that. You know, certainly strong in those 2 games.
But coach will tell you, defense is not a sometime thing. It's an all-the-time thing.
Scola. It's an all-the-time thing if you hope to win a championship. Other teams have different goals. That's the only goal for the Lakers. Vujacic can't hit that one. And a loose ball foul will go against L.A. Bynum picks up his second. Odom getting worked on after landing on the back. An exciting season of Lost comes to an end in spectacular style with a season finale event. The destiny of all the survivors will be determined in our shocking moment that will have fans talking all summer long. ABC's Lost season finale event, Wednesday at 8, 7 Central. Not only is it season finale, it's a season finale event.
I want to go back to what I was saying before. It's like there's a difference between the Rockets' toughness and a bounce-back game from a loss. The Rockets play with this ferocity on most nights. If the Lakers think they're going to finesse their way to a championship and never get in the hand-to-hand combat that it requires to win it, like if they face Cleveland down the line or even Denver, they're mistaken.
Hook Kobe Bryant has been saying that as Farmar gets inside. Won't go. Bynum the rebound. Bynum goes back up, stripped and stolen on the block shot. In fact, he almost seemed to not enjoy, but like the fact that they took a hit in game one just to show them the challenge. But they certainly have not responded today. Starting to get a little chippy out there right now as Scola misfires. Rebound tipped and taken by Powell. Under 4 to play in the third. Farmar and a reaching foul on Brooks, who goes crashing into the photographers.
We're seeing some of the things that Jordan Farmar can do on the floor for the Lakers. The one guy that can stay in front of Aaron Brooks and make him work, and then offensively push the basketball, easy basket opportunities. This is a foul, stops the clock, going to the line for 2. Good things happen. Jordan Farmar on the floor.
And I really think the Lakers have to figure out how can they get a consistent performance out of Farmar and Bynum. Because if you don't have at least 2 guys off your bench every night that you can trust to play and play effectively, then you're really going to struggle.
Well, I think with Farmar, I think he's fine. It's a matter of getting minutes. With Bynum, I'm concerned about mentally where he is. Right now, lacking the confidence that he needs to be a dominant player on the floor.
Of course, the original plan was for Bynum to be a starter and Odom to come off the bench, but after the injury, things changed. They tried it with Bynum starting. Wasn't working. Brooks again, another 3. 22 for Aaron Brooks. Young man having the game of his life in a huge playoff game.
But he's a scoring point. When you allow any scorer to get it going, they feel like they can't be stopped.
Bryant out to Farmar. Farmar sets and knocks it down. Farmar again had fallen out of the rotation. Had only played 28 total minutes in the playoffs prior to game 3. But with the suspension to Derek Fisher, played 33 impressive minutes in that Laker victory here Friday.
Coach, we've been around a long time. This game is far from over. If you're the Rockets, you have to continue to execute.
Scola against Bynum. Landry back to Scola. Shot clock at 2. Extra pass. Beautiful feed from Scola. He was open but found a better opportunity for a teammate.
High IQ player, recognizing he had time to give it up.
In the first 3 games of this series, Rockets had more turnovers than assists in all 3 games. Here today, they had 16 assists and just 7 turnovers. Brooks fouled by Bynum before the shot. And we'll have a timeout as the Lakers now on the penalty.
Well, the Rockets are just moving the ball well. Lowry drives. He gives it up. Scola turns down a good shot to give Lowry a great shot. Tremendous team basketball. And Brooks has it on automatic here tonight from 3-point range. Rockets by 25.
Join ESPN for 2 nights of Major League Baseball action. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell, 8 Eastern, Tampa and Boston from Fenway Park. And while on Monday night at 7 Eastern, the Braves go to Citi Field to play the Mets. 2 nights of Major League Baseball on ESPN. Here this afternoon on ABC. What a performance from the Houston Rockets without Yao Ming. He's done for the season. They explode. And let's hear some recent huddles from both coaches.
Guys, you're just making the extra pass is all you're doing. Weak side is open. You're finding the right people.
But this is one of those days where you got to take your lumps and move ahead.
It's all about maintaining your defensive intensity right here, okay? One shot for them. Everything on the boards.
They have maintained the intensity. You knew they were going to come out with great emotion. The way the building supported them. Everybody loves the underdog with Yao Ming, although in reading the Houston Chronicle today and talking to Rockets fans, they were resigned, oh, this series is over. But yet they came out, these fans here today, and really urged this team on. But they were able to get even past that initial emotion and just play so effectively.
They've shot the ball well, they've defended well, and they've dominated the glass. Pretty simple when it comes to playing winning basketball. You dominate all 3 areas like that, you're going to win. And if you're the Lakers, you're going to have to find some front court toughness. Their toughness, to me, is all in the back court. Where is your front court toughness?
Nearly a 24-second violation. Farmar's shot hits it. And the key also for the Rockets was, hey, just worry about trying to win one game today. Don't worry about the series, because they were all devastated from hearing about Yao Ming. So well-liked and obviously so important. Artest, really the only Rocket that hasn't shot the ball well, as we check in with Lisa Salters.
Well, Mike, Lamar Odom has gone back to the Lakers locker room. He was telling Lakers trainer Gary Vitti that his lower back was spasming, so they've taken him back to the locker room. They're going to try to stretch him out to see if he'll be able to return. Mike?
All right, it's quiet. Yeah, I hate watching that. That's a tough one to look at. Anyone who's ever had back problems, boy, does that hurt. Shannon Brown rattles one in. All right, if you're the Lakers, Jeff, you get pounded. There's still a quarter to play. But what are you trying to accomplish at the end of here in the third and the fourth quarter?
Well, I think from a coaching standpoint, you're just trying to find people you can trust that are going to compete at a level that are going to allow you to compete for a championship. That's it. Now, who are those guys? As Artest knocks it in. Is it Shannon Brown and Farmar together like they're playing now? Who in the front court can you trust? Is it Josh Powell or Luke Walton? Do you want to play Bynum and Gasol together? I mean, they're still searching for the answers that they need in order to not only just advance in this series, but to get through the next and subsequent round.
And I think if you're the Lakers, what you do is look at the Rockets. As Aaron Brooks knocks down another jumper, you lose something in talent, but find me a guy that's going to leave it on the floor and compete. Phil Jackson has to find the guys that's willing to compete and give extra effort on the floor.
And the Rockets will hold it for the final shot of the third quarter. And did anyone think that Houston would go into the fourth quarter with a lead like this? The Rocket fans on their feet here at this sold-out Toyota Center. Brooks looking. Kicks it out, knocked away by Brown. Out of bounds, and still Houston ball, 7/10 of a second left. Time for a quick catch and shoot. Artest looking, lobs it in. Oh, Brooks puts it in at the buzzer. An alley-oop for a 6-footer. An appropriate ending to the third quarter of what so far has been a dominant performance. Aaron Brooks, all 6 feet of him. He didn't get over the rim. End result was just fine for the Houston Rockets. Brooks with 17 points in the third quarter, a playoff career high 28. And the Houston Rockets embarrassing the Lakers. 3 quarters complete. 83-54. Who would have thunk it?
Have had success playing without Yao, but if I had told you that you would be up 29 after 3 quarters, what would you have said to me?
No, I would have said I doubt that. But our guys have really done a nice job of playing together. I mean, we've moved the ball, we make that pass, and we keep defending them.
What's going to be the key just in the fourth quarter? I mean, you're up 29. What really do you have to do?
Well, you got to win the first 6 minutes, I think. You win the first 6 minutes, over with. You don't want them to get the first spurt.
All right, thanks for your time. Mike?
All right, Lisa. I know Rick Allen's not a big superlative guy, but the guys have done a nice job. His team up by 29. Just a brilliant team performance from the Rockets as we begin quarter number 4. Vujacic inside. Can't get it to go. Gasol the rebound. And now Gasol the foul.
And if you're the Rockets, you don't want to give anybody on the floor who may be a little bit down confidence-wise a couple open looks to start feeling better. Not necessarily for this game, but going in to Game 5 in L.A.
Landry misses Gasol the rebound. Livingston, a coach in the NBA who doesn't think you could lose up by 30 in the fourth quarter. They're a paranoid bunch. This Gasol's foul by Scola.
Mike, you can't lose this game. All right, so Rick Adelman, sit easy.
If you were sitting on the sidelines, you'd be concerned. I know you, and just about every other coach that you've ever met. He's nervous right now. He's absolutely nervous. It's the first. Fans, go to NBA.com/amazing right now to create a video playlist of your favorite NBA playoff moment. Choose from an extensive library of the best playoff moments in NBA history, and then share your playlist with friends. Cisco and the NBA let you decide where amazing happened. Amazing has certainly happened here this afternoon. Without Yao Ming, their best player, of course. Without Tracy McGrady, whose season ended back in February. The two All-Star players from the Rockets are missing. Yet Houston is hammering the Lakers. Scola in and out.
And where the Rockets attack have different today, they're not looking into the post. They're playing strictly pick-and-roll basketball. And as Mark has pointed out many, many times, the Lakers' greatest defensive weakness is their ability to bend the pick-and-rollers while knocks in a three. So just like Chris Paul has had his way with LA at times, Aaron Brooks poses the same type of threat, speed and the ability to make three-point shots.
And it makes life so much easier for Aaron Brooks, where if Yao Ming is in the post, he's concentrating on running the show and being a true point guard. No Yao Ming, he's able to just freelance and make plays happen.
And you like that move from Lowry. He was wide open for a three-pointer. That's not his game. And he got himself a better shot and ended a 7-0 run. Gasol is hammered by Mathieu. The Lakers will take it out of bounds. Sean Battier picks up just his first foul. Amazing considering how tough defensively he is. McGrady, again with his knee injury and surgery back in February. Certainly it's got to be tough for him to watch. Happy for his teammates, but tough for him because he had never made it out of the first round of the playoffs. Although individually he's always put up some terrific numbers. But now the Rockets have not been to the second round in 12 years. McGrady not the only one, Yao Ming as well. And it meant so much for Yao Ming to get out of the first round. That's when you know he's heartbroken he's not playing.
Does this count for Tracy McGrady?
It's an asterisk.
Has to be.
But again, Tracy McGrady was the favorite in one series.
I do not need you remixing Tracy McGrady.
I'm telling you. No, I am tired of people beating this guy up for team failures. When a team wins, everybody's talking about, oh, the team won. When his teams have lost, it's been Tracy McGrady can't get out of the first round. There's a lot more that goes into it than one person's performance.
He has also had some spectacular performances in first-round losses. Artest misses, Walton the rebound.
There are very few players in the history of our league who've actually gone up in performance from regular season to postseason. McGrady is one of them.
Vujicic can't get it to go. Gasol. Hayes doing a good job and forcing the turnover. That's why Chuck Hayes got the start. He's just a good, strong post defender.
To me, Gasol's going to have to face him up instead of trying to back him down. You're not going to get where you want to get backing Chuck Hayes down. Face up, use your quickness, and then spin off of his body.
Brooks flips it up. Shocked that his shots aren't going in. Brooks has been just amazing. As the marketing slogan goes, Brown knocked it off. Last touch by Lowry. And we'll have a timeout. A long afternoon for the LA Lakers.
Chuck Hayes is a premier defender in this league in the post. Does a good job using his lower body to force Gasol to the dotted circle. And then Gasol, little flustered, throws the ball out of bounds. Another nice stop by the Rockets defense.
Houston Rockets care about the community throughout this season. The Rockets and Yao Ming have given their all both on and off the court. by helping build new places for kids and families to live, to learn, and to play, and by leading a lot of kids in NBA Fit Clinics, and finally by spearheading global initiatives to support families in need all around the world. Yao has certainly made a difference for so many. The NBA, where caring happens.
Hey, you can't have Yao Ming doing defensive slides with the kids. No, that's just not right. He was doing that foot fire stuff. That's the slowest foot fire I ever seen. Get Yao teaching the jump hook or...
While he's on the bench, our Verizon Wireless game track, largest lead of the series for Houston, almost the largest deficit for the Lakers all year. They trailed by 30 to Portland during the regular season. Turnovers huge, especially early, and Shane Battier and Aaron Brooks been lighting it up for the Rockets right from the beginning of this one. Gasol, good move inside using the left hand.
Well, when he counters back off the body of Chuck Hayes, that's when he's going to be able to get enough separation so his length advantage over Hayes makes a difference.
But I agree with you. I think he would be much more effective catching and facing Chuck Hayes.
Good pressure defense there. Lowry, Brooks, Artest, Chuck Hayes, and Battier out there for Houston. Brooks lost it. And the Rockets playing so well, and Artest not having a good game on the offensive end. Just 4 of 16 from the field. Now he has 9 rebounds. He has 6 assists. And he's also played some good defense. But you'd think he needed to have a big offensive game for them to put up 85 with 8 minutes to go. An illegal defensive 3 seconds. So a technical foul. 1 shot for the Lakers. Lakers on a little mini run for the first time this afternoon. They've been trailing by double figures since the first 5 minutes of the game. Largest lead 29, but they've opened up the 4th with an 11-2 run. Kobe on the bench. And it sounds funny to say, but it's down to 20.
And I think if you're Kobe on the bench, you're thinking, just give me a little bit more, fellas. A little bit more. Put me within range so I can get back in this game.
Walk. Can't finish. And Brooks able to get it. They've out-rebounded the Lakers by 8 without their best rebounder.
I'm gonna if I'm LA and Gasol continues to struggle with Chuck Hayes, I'm gonna think about going to the hack of Hayes to put his greatest weakness on the line. And I'm not talking really as much tonight as going forward into Game 5. I'm not going to let him just play out there and play defense and rebound, which he does well. You got to make sure you exploit the weaknesses of every player on the floor.
Hayes doesn't even look for his shot as Gasol drops it in. Hayes, this year during the regular season, 7 of 19 from the free throw line. Only took 19 free throws all year. Meanwhile, it's down to 18.
And that time, Gasol faced up and got a nice shot.
Count it, and a foul. Lowry, drives, knocks it down, and a chance for a three-point play. Boy, Lowry off the bench has been superb.
Well, absolutely. And Rick Allen looks at his guys and say, continue to play. Ball movement, man movement. Excellent cut by Lowry. The delivery from Shane Battier takes the contact, gets the basket, going to the line. You want to continue to play confident basketball.
But I like the move by Phil Jackson about trying to disrupt the rhythm of the Rockets pick-and-roll game by using Gasol as a trapper right over half court.
Yeah, that's a big three-point play there. Lakers went on a mini run, cut it to 18. Brown drives, reverse layup, won't go. Hayes the rebound. 8th board for Hayes. Lowry just held on to his pivot foot there. Brooks trying to draw a foul. Instead, goes to the basket, puts it in. 30 for Aaron Brooks. He was the 26th pick in the draft by the Rockets back in 2007. As Vujacic can't connect. Boy, Vujacic just can't buy a basket. Such an important player for them last year in the playoffs. Did some terrific things. He's just in a bad shooting slump right now.
How about the performance by Aaron Brooks all afternoon long, making plays, cannot be contained by this Laker defense.
Artest, he still can't find the range. 4 of 17. And Brown has made some nice offensive plays here in the fourth. Artest, by the way, 0 for 5 from three-point range. He was hot early in the series, now really struggling. His team up by 21.
But the beautiful thing of your Rick Adelman, and also the nightmare of a thing, is Ron Artest doesn't care whether he's made or missed his last one.
Foul on Luke Walton. And we'll take a timeout.
Oh, it's been the Aaron Brooks show. Mama, there goes that man. Pick and roll, gets where he wants. Vujacic doesn't fight. Brooks sees green light to the rim, coast to coast, spectacular play.
Playoffs on ABC, brought to you by Universal Pictures comic adventure Land of the Lost, starring Will Ferrell, in theaters June 5th. And Coors Light, introducing the Coors Light 12-ounce cold-activated can. When the mountains turn blue, your beer is as cold as the Rockies.
Well, they're on the verge of beating LA and tying this series at 2 games apiece, just past the midway point of the fourth. Time for our Bud Light freeze frame.
Well, Aaron Brooks has 30 points, but when you're willing to do the little things, be first to the floor, put your face on the ball, you got a chance to do great things and have great upset wins. And we used to run this play for me at Nazareth. Throw it above the rim. Great pass by Ron Artest. Aaron Brooks, great vertical leap.
He's hit 4 three-pointers, also has 4 assists, only 1 turnover. Turnovers, very important as we have an offensive foul call. They've been averaging 18 turnovers a game, only 8 today. And there you see Brooks. He had a 27-point game in the first round in the Portland series. And just a brilliant performance here this afternoon in Game 4.
I could just see you telling the guys taking it out of bounds, put it by the rim, I'll go get it.
I just used to point up.
By the way, Lamar Odom done for the afternoon with back spasms. And Kobe Bryant has returned to the game with his team down by 21.
That's very interesting.
Artest got hit in the head. Brooks fires away. You just expect it to go in the way he's throwing them up today.
They're playing Ron Artest at the 4 a lot in the second half instead of Landry.
Brown misses, ball batted out of bounds. Artest touched it last. Laker ball.
And you know, more interesting to me, Rick Adelman putting Shane Battier back in the ballgame, saying, basically, I don't want to allow this guy to take over offensively and get a rhythm for Game 5.
Vujacic misfires. Walton inside, deflected. Kobe Bryant is at the 30-point mark in each of the last 5 playoff games, averaging just under 35, shooting over 50%. Yeah, that's the numbers here this afternoon. Luke Walton inside Gasol, and Gasol throws it down. Kind of a half dunk.
He's got great hands, and he always keeps the ball up high.
Gasol, 11 of his 23 here in the fourth. Foul call against Brown.
Both teams forced the pick and roll to the baseline. Gasol reads it, catches it up high, keeps it up high, and finishes the play. Good execution by Gasol.
Battier. What a game for Battier today. Started it off with his pregame motivational talk to his team as Gasol called for the foul. Got them fired up. Came out. The crowd was so into the game. He jumped out early. Outscored the Lakers 29-16 in the first. Battier red hot from the opening period. He had 12 points in the first quarter.
So what it showed was breakdowns right away for the Lakers defensively. How could a guy hurt us? They allowed him to step in the rhythm jump.
Vujacic, that's a three. Dr. Vujacic, and all of a sudden at 16 has run to 4 minutes to go. Vujacic's second three-pointer. This is the closest it's been in the second half. Again, the biggest lead was 29. Artest for three. He's 0 for 7 from downtown. 4 for 18 overall. Walt. Good hands from Chuck Hayes. That would have been a dunk for Pau Gasol. Instead, Hayes deflects it. The intangibles of Chuck Hayes all afternoon.
That's why you need depth that you can trust in a playoff situation. Not much playing time this year. Come through in a big-time way today.
Nice steal by Brown, deflecting it away from Brooks. Brown now drive the other way. Stripped by Brooks. Brown gets it back. Brown tries it again and knocks down a three. It's a 13-point game. And slowly chipped away as Brown called for a foul. And we'll have a timeout. The Lakers making one last run. Have they run out of time? Well, they've outscored the Rockets 23-7 here in the fourth. Now with 2:48 remaining in the fourth quarter, what was a 29-point lead has been cut to 13. Shannon Brown off the bench. Rockets ball when we come back.
I have a very particular set of skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
With the Lakers trailing in the closing seconds of Game 4, Kobe Bryant takes over, forcing overtime with a last-second runner. Minutes later, he buries the game winner, lifting the Lakers to a 99-98 triumph over the Suns.
The score right now is not indicative of how dominant the Rockets have been. With 2:48 remaining, a 29-point lead cut to 13. Our HB in touch look at the current playoff brackets. Big game tonight as the Celtics try and tie things up with Orlando. Cleveland's been dominant. Denver leading 3-0. How about that? Just such a tough loss for Dallas on that call that was not made at the end of the game. The league saying it should have been called. But how about you want to have a clinic and a lesson on how to handle a difficult play with class? Rick Carlisle with the Mavericks did that yesterday.
No question. It basically eliminates them from the playoffs. And yet, he took time to acknowledge his team's disappointment, the fans' disappointment, but also he felt for Mark Wunderlich, the official nearest the play. And I'm going to say this, Mark Wunderlich, you could give me him anytime, anywhere. He's a great, great official that feels awful today about that missed call.
You're not kidding. Well said. As Gasol has it, 2.5 remaining. Gasol banks it in, back to 13. Gasol having a huge fourth quarter. He's got 13 points in the period. And now a team-high 25.
Yeah, but if I'm the Mavs, I understand and I accept people making mistakes, especially when we made mistakes down the stretch of the ball game ourselves that cost us the ball game.
This is very interesting going forward, how Gasol is playing and basically ignoring Chuck Hayes in the middle of possessions. Will they continue this, or will they go back to their regular defense going forward?
And that last offensive rebound pretty much seals the deal as we go under 2 minutes remaining. This crowd celebrating in what has been a shocking result. And again, this score right now in no way tells the story of just how dominant Houston was. Lowry fires away. And a loose ball foul called on Gasol. Look at Battier still working, still hustling. They're in the penalty. And Battier will go to the line.
What you think about this? You close the gap to 13. All you need is a stop to continue to put pressure on the Rockets. They get back-to-back offensive rebounds. Inexcusable, but it shows what's been going on all game long for the Lakers.
Should they have been fouling there and putting guys on the line?
I don't think so at all, Coach, because bottom line, they got 2 stops. They just were not able to get the basketball.
You remember back game 3, they had the same problem playing with a big lead. The ball was loose, and all those loose balls went the Rockets' way. Right here again, same thing. You got to finish your defense.
Battier now with 23 points, most he's ever scored in a playoff game. Brown misses, Gasol throws it down.
And these are all fake stats for the Lakers. This is fake. You got run out of here. You got some big numbers put up by some guys in a meaningless quarter.
And Lowry calls a timeout. With 1:16 remaining, they're going to take a full timeout. The Rockets 1 minute 16 seconds away from tying this series up at 2 apiece. Aaron Brooks did rock here this afternoon, 94-81. Rockets leading with 1:16 remaining. Brooks with 32 points.
And really the difference, first play of the third quarter, Aaron Brooks off a high pick and roll. No Laker rotates, able to get all the way to the cup. Take a look at how the Houston Rockets defend. Lamar Odom thinks there's a gap, there's a lane. Uh-oh, Shane Battier rotates, sacrifices his body, takes the charge. The difference between winning and losing, the intangible, the little things. The Rockets have done it all game long, the Lakers have not.
And you wonder about Odom and his availability for the next game. That hard fall he took really landed directly on it. He couldn't soften the blow at all, and he left the game with back spasms. Scola has it, and now they foul. And Scola will go to the free throw line. No Yao Ming, no problem, at least for one game. We've seen that so often in the NBA. A star player goes out, the other team able to rise up, a terrific performance, but going in a long term without the star player, that's what's so difficult. But all they needed to do was win the one game today. And this is a very confident team, Jeff, and they've already won in Los Angeles, game 1 of the series, granted with Yao Ming, and he had a big game there, but I'm sure they feel they can win and win.
Very competitive in game 2, though, as well. And they've got the ultimate wild card in our test. Hey, he may go in there and drop 30 on it. He's going to keep shooting. If they continue to pick and roll, and the Lakers continue to play defense as they have.
He's due to hit a shot. He's way off. As Brown knocks in the 3, that makes it 11.
You know, but give me a guy, like Coach said, that's not afraid of the moment. Ron Artest is not afraid of failing or succeeding. He's going to go out and leave it on the floor.
That's what Scola told us before the game. He says, I'm not afraid of playing without Yao Ming. We're going against the Lakers. And they did leave it out on the floor. A little sloppy here in the fourth quarter, as they went up by as many as 29. This is the closest the Lakers have been since the opening minutes of the game. Rockets have led by double figures ever since the first 5 minutes of the game.
And Mike, if I'm the Lakers staff, I'm thinking going forward, how much am I going to play and trust Andrew Bynum right now? Because he does not look himself, physically or mentally. Am I better served playing Banga for limited minutes to give me more physicality in the paint that the Rockets really have dominated?
Gasol will try at 3. That won't go. Bynum, such a young, talented player, is far more foul scorer. He's going to be a star in the league for a while. You see Benga. But Bynum is obviously just not right now. And you can tell by the body language when he's out on the floor.
And the bonus with Banga, he's going to be a force in the paint. He's going to be a guy that's going to leave it on the floor. And that type of energy and effort really can send a message to everybody on the floor.
Bynum's on the verge of making an all-star team if he can stay healthy. Each of the last 2 years, the improvement terrific, but each of the last 2 regular seasons, and the injury has cut short his regular season.
Or if Lamar Odom is out, maybe the chance to start, if he gets a chance to start, would do the same thing for him that it did for Farmar in game 3, which is give him a little bit more freedom to play through mistakes as a starter versus as a bench player.
Kobe Bryant just 15 points here this afternoon in 34 minutes. Ball knocked out of bounds by Battier.
I really don't think that that's the issue with Bynum, whether he starts or plays. He's playing the same way right now, very passive, tentative. He has to just go out there, play aggressive, play with force, and not think. I think his problem right now, he's thinking a little too much.
It's inside, Gasol and Scola. Gasol able to put it in. And a foul. With 23.3 seconds remaining. Our NBA calendar tonight, huge game 4 from Orlando. The Magic leading the Celtics 2-1, 8 Eastern time. Our friends from TNT have that game tonight. And next Thursday on ESPN, game 6s. Maybe Boston and Orlando. There will definitely be a game 6 here in Houston as the Rockets and Lakers continue. And then next Sunday on ABC, either a game 7 or game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Where the Rockets are playing, you certainly wouldn't be shocked to see a game 7.
If you're LA and you're thinking that way, you may get stunned in game 5. The Rockets are going to go in there, really, they're playing with house money right now. You won a game no one expected you to win, and by a margin no one expected you to win by. If they can just keep it close, all the pressure in that fourth quarter would go to LA.
Brooks capping off the best night or best game of his NBA career. 33 points here in a critical game 4 of a conference semifinal. This is an inspired performance by this Rockets team. And this is the type of afternoon, if you're a Rockets fan, you'll remember this game for a long, long time. Nobody giving you any chance without Yao Ming. As Farmar misses, and the Rockets will dribble it out. A brilliant team performance with some superb individual play as well. This conference semifinal all tied up at 2 games apiece. A long afternoon for Kobe Bryant. Yao Ming in a nice suit, but Luis Scola and his teammates, an unbelievable job. And the littlest guy on the floor had the biggest game. 6 feet, 160 pounds. Aaron Brooks all over the place, including 34 points here in game 4. Lakers and Rockets even at 2 apiece. We'll be right back. What a performance here in Houston. Rockets 99-87. Final score not indicative of just how dominant it was. Wire-to-wire victory led by as many as 29. The first wire-to-wire loss of the season for the Lakers. And now you see it's all tied up at 2. Denver 1 away from advancing to the conference finals. Huge game tonight on TNT as Orlando leading Boston 2-1. A great afternoon for Rocket fans here at the Toyota Center. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Wednesday night, catch the lost season finale event at 8 Eastern. Now, except on the West Coast, stay tuned for ABC World News, all your local news. For Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson, Lisa Salters, and our entire terrific ABC crew, this is Mike Breen saying so long from Houston. Thanks for watching ABC, home of the NBA Finals.